Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So if you have PTSD, you might get overwhelmed every once in a while, depending on the severity of how bad you get triggered. If you have social anxiety, you might also get overwhelmed every once in a while. There's a few different ways that people can kind of reach that state of mind. And for me, when I get overwhelmed, it's because of my PTSD, and it's because of my anxiety, and it's because of depression and various aspects of my mental state that get to be too much for me to handle. And when that happens, I need to be able to have a refuge. I've learned this over the years, that it's important to have a refuge. When I lived in Los Angeles, I lived all over that city, but before I moved to Florida, I was living near downtown, not downtown, but near downtown. And it was an incredibly dense urban area. Lots of people everywhere. Sirens, helicopters, people outside, fucking people everywhere. And I might get triggered during my day, feel like I'm in survival mode, feel like I'm in battle mode. And I would just be like, I gotta get away from people. I just didn't feel like I could control myself. Now I've gotten a little bit better, but what I mean is that sometimes I just needed to be alone. And even having roommates and just even being around anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, it could be people that love me. I just needed to be alone for a while, decompress. Just kind of enjoy some peace and quiet for a minute. Let some of this shit pass. If you've had anxiety attacks and things, you might know what I'm talking about also. It's important to have a refuge. A place that you can go, a private place that's yours, that's just like a sacred place where you can just feel the good energy and just let it all go. And if you got to be there for 10 minutes or an hour, it's okay. Nobody's going to come and get you. Doesn't have to be a hideaway so nobody can find you, but it's just nice to have something that's quiet, somewhat secluded. A place that you can either shut the door or go to where people can't just come and say, hey, by the way, I mean, because sometimes we don't live alone. Sometimes we don't have the ability to turn our house. If you live alone and you got money, you could turn your house into a refuge, into just your sacred place. That would be the most ideal. You can turn your bedroom into that. But if you have roommates, they're on the other side of the door doing their thing, and they have a right to. And somebody might be knocking on your door, and you might just not be in the mode, and that kind of interaction can set you off. Sometimes you just need to be alone. Just kind of be off the grid for a minute. Not be fucking with your phone. Nature is a great place. If you live in a suburban area, or even if it's urban, but if you have a secluded backyard where you don't have neighbors peeping in on you, where you can go and create, your own little Zen garden, so to speak, in your backyard, your own little oasis. That's also beneficial because nature can really have a positive effect on us. Just sitting on the ground, having your feet on the ground. When I lived in LA, I had to kind of escape to my refuge. What I would do is go down to Marina Del Rey. Now on the weekends, Marina Del Rey would be packed. You wouldn't be able to find a parking space, but during the week, it would be rather dead. You could always find a parking space down by the beach. It would be a rather dead area. All the way down where that straightaway hits if you're from LA. There's kind of a little section there at the bottom of the hill where you can go to enjoy the beach. They have beach parking, and I would go there during the week. It would be pretty dead, and I can relax. The last day that I was in Los Angeles before I moved to Florida, I went there. And when I lived up in Hollywood, sometimes I would go to Runyon Canyon It's where Errol Flynn used to live. And they have hiking paths and stuff, and I would go to the top of the hill and sit on that bench. Sometimes it would be packed, and I wouldn't like that, but I could usually find times during the week and remember those times. And if I get into one of my modes where I just need to be alone for a minute, I just need to be in a space that I can think, be away from people, I'd run up there. When I moved to Florida here, I was lucky enough to be in a town that is kind of a small beach town. So I can go to the beach, but now it's spring break. We got 300,000 kids, I call them kids, all on the beach partying, and you know, it's fine. But it's hard to go down there and use that as some sort of refuge and some sort of hideaway, some sort of sacred place. You're not going to really get the energy you want when there's all that party going on. So I've been able to create that here at my house. But wherever you do this, it could be, you know, I don't know what your life is like. It could be in your car. Now, your car is a tight space and it's not connected to nature, so that's not the ideal. But when you get overwhelmed, and that's the best way I can describe it, you need to be able to get away from people. You need to be able to have your own space to just breathe, to not be fucked with. So you can snap out of that survival mode, that battle mode if you have PTSD. Anybody with PTSD knows exactly what I'm talking about. You need that private space. So that's my tip for the day, is to start thinking about where you're going to call your refuge. Is it going to be your bedroom, your office, spot in your backyard? You're going to go rent a storage unit, fill it up like a man cave. A man cave is great, or your she shed, if you're a woman watching this. Those types of areas are great. You can go to your, I have my motorcycle shop, very often can be my refuge. And it's a place full of nothing but positive energy. I go in there, I can shut the doors, I don't have to do business. I can go there off business hours, I can go there anytime, and it's quiet. It's my area. I don't have to deal with nobody if I don't want to. Shut the doors and just be in there, be in my little world. And it always recharges me. It's such an incredibly positive thing that I learned years ago, but I've now, no matter what, I always have a refuge somewhere. So that's the advice for the day. Find your refuge. Thanks for watching.